Weather Authority forecast from meteorologist Amber Wheeler.
Well, we've got quite a bit of a breeze out at the lakefront right now. I want to show you this camera because you can see the waves just crashing from Lake Pontchartrain. This is just from a front that's just pushed through the city. In fact, if you were outdoors here within the next few minutes or even now, you'd feel a little bit of a breeze in the New Orleans metro, and that's because of this front that's pushing through. It's not giving us cooler air, but it is giving us, of course, breezy conditions and drier conditions. Now, it has generated enough lift to give us a few radar returns here around Hancock County, kind of heading towards Bay St. Louis. Anything you see on the outside of this is just radar clutter there. So that's not really rain. These are the cells that are along that front there. And you can see that we are a little breezy along the lakefront. These winds will taper as that front does push to the south. The rest of us with some pretty light winds, and you'll know that the front has passed by you when you have a more northerly breeze coming at you here. But we also have the drier conditions behind it. So here are the last 24 hours for dew points. So this is the measure of moisture in the air. You get into the 70s like this and it's really sticky. We were sticky all day today. And you can see in the last hour, we've started to see the dew points drop. You don't typically see dew points drop in the overnight. That's typically when they actually rise quite often. So you can see where that front's going to push through. It's going to give us all some dry air as we head into Sunday. And Sunday is going to feel a lot different than it felt today. Now, in terms of the heat, we're still hot. We've got a lot of low 90s, but when we get this dry air completely funneled in, your humidity factor is going to be very low into Sunday and Monday. And in fact, low humidity really sticks around for the better part of the week. It's going to try to creep back up as we head towards Thursday. And that's when we'll start seeing some small chances for some storms. But between now and then, very dry conditions. Now we're still going to keep the low 90s, so it's still going to feel pretty hot out there, but we are looking at some dry conditions. And you can see that here, that front pushing through, not generating a lot in the way of rain. But again, giving us that more northerly flow as we head into Sunday. Lots of clear skies as well and dry conditions as we head into Monday. So Monday, a very similar day to Sunday. Both days a little breeze, and we're also looking for temperatures again to heat back up to the low 90s, which would be above average. Average right now is 88, so we're hitting about 92 for tomorrow. You can see here, keeping that northerly flow, that northerly surface wind here, lots of sun hitting those low 90s, but it's actually going to feel like low 90s because the humidity factor is going to be so low. It's going to feel great out there. An update on the tropics. We have a lot going on here. Of course, Margot just meandering out into the Atlantic there. We also have post-tropical storm Lee. Here's our latest storm here. This is Tropical Storm Nigel that just formed, or at least we just got the data to know that it formed tonight. It is heading towards the northwest, kind of trying to head towards Bermuda. It probably will become our next hurricane. But here's the good news. As it does head towards the northwest, it is going to follow around this ridge of high pressure, and that's going to push it back out to sea here and away from Bermuda. So that's the kind of storm we want to see here, right? If we're going to knock off these names, let's just keep them out into the Atlantic. Now here is Lee. Lee's still churning in parts of Nova Scotia. Some of the strongest winds I saw today were in Halifax, gusting up to 72 miles per hour, gusting up to 58 inland in Bangor, Maine. So this was a pretty strong storm when it did make landfall. Again, post-tropical storm Lee, meaning it was over colder water, so it was more environmentally steered here, or environmentally fueled instead of water fueled like most tropical systems are. You see here, it's going to move very quickly out over the next couple of days here. Temperatures back into the 70s and 80s at this hour. We head into tomorrow. It's going to feel great because we're going to be so dry. 60s on the North Shore, 70s in the south, and we're going to keep that dry air in place for several days here. Temperatures do fall back to the upper 80s as we have more of an easterly flow. That's going to give us some cooler temperatures and some more chances for some storms as we head towards the end of next week. If you're out on the water, a little bit of a breeze for the next couple of days behind that front, but it is going to be a beautiful next few days here, Maddie, as we have the drier air.
And I can tell, Amber, because when a cloud would go over the sun when I was outside today, it was like I could see the light at the end of the tunnel, and it just felt okay for a minute.
Yeah, it's going to feel good. And fall starts Saturday. It's going to feel like fall for a few days here.
My favorite. All right, thanks, Amber.